Hey, everybody, let's get political. Let's get political. Let's get political. Let's get political. Okay, today's vlog is today's vlog is about what personally I believe is wrong with the electoral college. If you don't know what the electoral college is, well, it's a school college that you should go to. No, I'm just playing. It has nothing to do with actual college and educational system or any of that matter. Which I might save that for a future video. Yo, a future video. I might talk about the actual educational system. Anyways, it has nothing to do with the education system. It's um it's the system we have in place to pick the president of the United States of America. Each state has a certain, based on population, has a certain amount of electoral votes. And they have the same amount of electoral votes as they have, I believe, congressmen. So, however many congressmen you have in your state is how many electoral votes that your state will get if they swing one way or the other. Ones that are too close to call are usually called swing states, and that's why they're called swing states, because you don't know if they're going to swing to the left, to the left, to the left. The left need to leave the country because they're crazy, or the right. Anyway, besides, L is like left, but it's also L for losers. Yeah, yeah. And anyway, personally, what I think is wrong with the Electoral College, there's a few things. But the first thing we should address is the winner take all system. The Electoral College is based on a winner take all system. So, if you are running for president on one side or the other, and your state gets just a few votes more, if you get a few votes more in a state, you get the whole entire state. There's problem number one with the Electoral College right there. We should make there's two solutions to this problem. Solution A is all states should be split states. That way, all states would be split states, and it would work in a system like this. Get the most votes, you get the majority split. You get the least votes, you get the minority split. Since most states are, well, a lot of small states, since most states don't have an even number of electoral votes, that would mean that in a split, in an all split state system, all states would be split, unless, of course, there was a majority landslide victory. What I mean by that is if, like, over 75% of the votes went to one candidate or the other in that state, then like around 80% went to one candidate or other, you could then declare a winner take all situation in that particular situation. That would drastically change how our elections are handled. And in the case of a third party candidate being huge, getting a lot of votes, or multiple third party candidates getting a lot of votes, that third, in the case of a really tough tie, like it's really close, too close to call type deal, and you split the states, you'd get rid of the too close to call type deals. But the extra bonus electoral college vote would go to third parties. Say, say for example, a state that has three votes, and it has a three party, it has a uh, split. It's a split state. The majority and the minority and the third party all got like really close. So you'd have to give each one of them the extra vote. But say again, there's a state that has like 25 votes. In that state, it would be split to 25, and say a bunch of third party, like a third party, got a fairly good majority of the votes there. Well, not majority, a fairly good amount of votes. Then that third party, the largest third party, so we'd add all the third parties together and then give to the biggest third party. So it'd be a winner take all system for the third party of whichever third party was the hugest or biggest in the majority of all the third parties put together or independent candidates or whatever. Anyway, so then that independent candidate or third party would get that a bonus vote because 12 and 12 is 24, and then you got 25. That's how you'd have to do it for the electoral college split situation. Because if the it's really huge where it's so close that it's like maybe 1,000 votes or so off, you could then it's not enough votes because it's so close that it would be split between boom and boom evenly. And of course, in this case, you had a third party candidate that would get one of the extra, would get the extra bonus electoral college vote, so that the split would be a good split. If not, then of course it's the majority would get the extra vote. Okay, the person who got the most would get the extra vote, and the other person would get the other one. Now, that would drastically change our electoral college system if we did that. It's cool and all, it's a nice idea, and I think there's only one, maybe two states that actually split their votes. And they're both small states, like three electoral college votes. So that's how they do it. They do it like one, the majority candidate gets two, the minority candidate gets one, and that's pretty much how they do it. Now, solution two is the one I favor more. We are going to go by a winner take all system. But what we're going to do is we're going to divide the districts, the precincts, the districts. Each so each area, the area that can vote for a congressperson, would get that electoral college vote. So again, a state say they have 11 congressmen. The people in each individual district, based on population and stuff, would then take that district's vote. So it would be a winner take all system, but it would be a winner take all system based off of the majority population of that particular individual district or precinct or however they call it. So that congressional district, right? So each congressional district gets one electoral vote. So the majority of people, whoever wins the majority in that congressional district, would get that individual one electoral college vote. So now, instead of having to try to win a whole entire state, the individual people running for president would have to try to win individual districts that would also take over our thing, that would also drastically change our system of the electoral college, because right now the way we got it is a whole lot of cities, major cities, are blue, and those major cities are using the population system to be able to take over the whole entire state. If we did it by individual congressional districts, those those big major cities would all no longer be trying to control the whole state, but would be stuck in their congressional district, which each major city, I believe, only has one congressman, one congressional. No matter how big they are, a city is there's don't know. It might not be true. There might be some cities that are so big they have two congressmen, but the majority of cities are only have one congressional district. So now these major cities, which tend to be usually blue, especially the ones where all this leftist policies aren't working, like if the city has a lot of crime and a lot of other things, and they have all these policies like gun control and whatnot, it's probably majorly controlled by Democrats or leftists. And there's no reason for the people in the major cities to be controlling the people outside of the cities. If you look actually just about anywhere all over the United States of America country, you will see that cities tend to dominate Democrat, while country and counties and everything tend to be more, and rural areas tend to be more Republican. So if you got rid of the power of the cities to control and dominate the whole entire state through the congressional district system that I just talked about, individual congressional districts get winner take all one vote, then we would drastically change our electoral college system. We would find out how we would fix it. That would be a good fix. Now, another thing, second thing that is wrong with our electoral college is it's based off of the census. Yes, it should be based on the. Yes, I agree. The electoral system should be based off of how many the voters. Right now, it's based off the census. It takes in which the census forgets to take into account people who cannot vote at all. So during the census, every human being is counted that is living in the United States of America, not just citizens living. Okay, so so to change the census, we need to add a we need to have a secondary census for the electoral college census. So we have a regular census, and we can use the information from the regular census to then fix the electoral college census or the political census, which the political census would be different than the regular census, because people who are under the age of 18 would not be counted toward you having power in the government. basically, and non-citizens would not be counted for you to have power in the government. You would have less congressional districts and congressional seats if we got rid of certain individuals. Three type of individuals that should be eliminated from from gaining political power should be, of course, non-citizens, so illegal immigrants um, that are living in the country, and possibly foreign visitors. I mean, you can be a non-citizen and be living in the United States for years, but if you're not a citizen, you don't get to vote, and thus you shouldn't be counted as political power in the census. Second group of people that should not be allowed to that are not legally allowed to vote. They should not be added to the census to gain political power. Yes, you represent them as as a congre- congressional person. You will represent those people, but they can't vote, so they shouldn't be counted as political power. So everybody under the age of 18. Personally, I think that if you have a job and you are being taxed and you drive and whatnot, you probably should have the right to vote. So I would be in favor of lowering the voting age to 16, but only if in, low we basically we would, but only for those individuals who have a job um, and or a car and those. So it'd be kind of like being legally emancipated. For anyone who's 16 that is kind of legally emancipated, they have a job, they maybe live on their own, or they, you know, they got a job, they got a car, they're paying taxes, they're buying stuff. Those type of people. So we'll have exceptions to which ones can and cannot vote, but we lower it to 16 for those who are contributing to society and paying taxes. But that's just a little side note because a lot of them are contributing to society and paying taxes, but they're not getting any of the political power for it. But and this nation was founded on like no representation, no taxation without representation. So they're not represented, but they're taxed anyway. So the second that group of people should not be counted in the idea of political power. People that cannot vote, children under the age of 18. So we're already reducing the population for political power right there. And the third group of people that should not be counted for political power in the population would be inmates, incarcerated prisoners. Because prisoners do not have the right to vote. Personally, once you get out of jail, I think you should be given your right to vote back. If you are currently in jail and you go to jail for, I believe it's a capital crime, you usually lose your right to vote, which is retarded, ridiculous. And it's ridiculous for like two reasons. One, first of all, it's ridiculous because once you are no longer a prisoner, you should get your right to vote back because you're now should be treated with respect and should be treated as a regular citizen again because you are no longer in jail. You have paid your debt to society. The whole entire idea that have to lose something literally forever, there you should be able to get all your rights back. So the idea that you don't get any of your rights back forever is cruel and unusual punishment. Extremely cruel and extremely unusual punishment. You've already been to jail for 20 something years. Say you go to jail when you're young, and say you got out on good behavior and on parole, and say 5 years. For the rest of your life, certain rights of yours you are not allowed to have or exercise at all, period, including your right to vote. That is extremely cruel and unusual and terrible for you to have. So, prisoners, once out of jail, should be treated as citizens and shouldn't be treated as second class citizens and should have their right to vote back. Hmm. Secondary reason of why. So, it being cruel and unusual punishment, they've served their time, they've out of jail, everything, right? Secondary reason why, I think I already told you, but it's inhumane as well. I was just saying a while ago. Oh yeah, second reason why is because you could be convicted in one state, served a time in another state, and then move to another state where the laws are not exactly the same. It's unfair for one state to use their legal system to take away your right to vote in another state. It's unfair for one city to use their legal system to take away your right to vote in another city. That is why secondary reason is wrong. So, say you go to jail for like 2 years or just 1 year or something because of a crazy, ridiculous crime that shouldn't possibly be a crime. For example, the District of Columbia. In Washington, D.C., it's one of the strictest laws and control laws in the country. And people have gone to jail for like a year for carrying a gun into D.C. Even if that gun was in their own vehicle. They don't live in D.C. and but they got caught with possession. And then, which, matter of fact, side note, all gun control laws are unconstitutional because the Second Amendment shall not be infringed, right to bear arms. But still, this is a prime example of people who've lost their voting rights for the rest of their life because of something of that nature. Here's another reason is like the drug laws. A lot of people who go to jail for drug related offenses, they lose their right to vote and they lose their political power just because they were in jail for like a year or two. So a lot of these minor offenses shouldn't even be given jail time, let alone like, you know, basically if the law is not the same in now I do agree that people should follow the laws of the area that they live in, but I don't think they should be able to be prosecuted and lose their political power for life just because they didn't follow the law in the area that they were visiting. I live in one state. Yes, I should follow the laws of another state. But if I get in trouble in that state, that I don't think that state should have the right to destroy my political power in the state I'm from. Matter of fact, if I get in trouble in that state, I should be able to appeal for my case to be tried in my home state. And then their laws might be different. And that way, they might be like, case dismissed, which you can do in cities, like cities and counties. Okay, for example, I live in Memphis, but if I get like a ticket and I get a ticket in like Bartlett, say, I can ask for that ticket to be transferred over to Memphis, and whether Memphis gets the time to decide to look at it or not will determine on whether I'll have to go to court now. So if you if you live in another city, you can have your case sent to your home city in the state. So I don't understand why the states don't do the same thing. So basically, if I lived in Tennessee and I was in Arkansas and got in trouble, why can't I send my case back to Tennessee and my home city and then let it determine? Because I think that would be more constitutionally appropriate because according to the Constitution, you're supposed to be tried by a jury of your peers. For them to be your peers, they should be from the same city as you. But I digress. Anyway, so that's like two reasons, two extremely good reasons, basically, of why inmates who are no longer in jail, they're no longer inmates anymore, should be treated as citizens and should not lose their voting power forever and should have the right to vote back because they're supposed to be made productive members of society again. They're no longer in prison. They're no longer criminals. They've paid their debts to society. Okay, so those three type of people. So to recap, fixing the electoral college, we can either make it a split, every state's a split state rule, or every district gets one electoral vote based off of a winner take all, and we get rid of the winner take all the state, and we replace it to winner take all congressional district wise. We changed the census where they only get congressional districts based off of who can actually vote, and the three people that would be took off of the regular census for the political census would be, of course, illegal immigrants, foreign, foreign, which also, and non-illegal immigrants. It would also include people who have work visas and non-citizens that are living in the United States. Which, a side note, if you are not a citizen, we should pass a law that says you cannot own land or operate a business in the United States. Just a side note. So, two, people who cannot vote because they're not of the age to vote yet. And three, people who are literally in jail behind bars in jail right now for, of course, capital offenses. So that is how I would fix the electoral college, and it would also change and restructure a whole bunch of districts. Um, yeah. Anyway, remember God is good all the time. All the time, God is good. Keep on gaming. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Jesus loves Jesus God, Jesus Lord, Jesus King, Jesus is ruler of everything. Have a great, wonderful day. And if y'all have watched for the whole freaking 30 minutes, you are amazing. Amazing, awesome, great, wonderful, super cool, sweet people. What do you think about the Electoral College and some of my ideas of how to improve the Electoral College? Comment down below. Also, uh, what other type of things would you like to see me do vlog videos? And also, my last phone would only let me record, I think, 32 or so minutes. So I'm trying to see if this phone lets me record more or less, or if it cuts me off or whatever it does. Just so I'm just talking a little bit random right now about that. So, what kind of things would you like to see me do vlog videos about? Comment down below. And if you know how many electoral votes are in your state, comment down below. Um, yeah, whatever. Just, comment down below. I'd like your feedback on my um, videos, of course. And if there's something I was talking about in the side notes, you can comment about those side notes too. I mean, like, maybe you don't agree or with something I said, or maybe you agree with something I said, and comment down below if you agree or disagree, or you agree partially with some of the things I said, but you disagree partially with other things I said. So you know, let's have a discussion in the and debate in the comments down below, because why not? I mean, seriously, why not? And it looks like this phone is allowing me to record even longer than 33 minutes, maybe. So I don't know exactly how long this phone will let me record. Oh wow, it's still recording. Because I think it was either 32 or 33 minutes for the other phone, and this one's still going on and on and on and on. It's got to have a cutoff time, and I'm just wondering what the cutoff time is. Or maybe it doesn't have a cutoff time. Who knows? But if it doesn't cut off in like about like 35, I'm probably just going to say later, guys. Yeah, because I got other stuff to do other than just sit here and jibber jab, jabber jaw, jabber jab, since I'm already done with everything I've said about the electoral college thing anyway. I'm wondering if it also has something to do with how much space has been used up on the phone already too. Like I said, I'm fixing to just sign off because it's approaching 35 minutes and it hasn't cut me off yet. And I don't really want to actually keep staying here to see how long the thing goes at recording, because then you're just gonna have like a bunch of wasted time of not saying anything where the video technically already ended, but it's still just da 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 recording. You know what I'm getting at? Yeah. Huh. I'm legitimately curious at what point it will cut me off, but I'm also like I'm ready to go. And done a recording here. So yeah. Later, have a great day. Remember, God's good all the time. All the time, God's good. Keep on gaming. Keep on collecting. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Jesus loves you. Jesus God. Jesus Lord. Jesus King. Jesus is rule of everything. And have a great, wonderful day. And later.